Could we hear from Terry Gorman, please?
I'm not drunk. I've been sitting down for so long. My legs not working. Mr. Chairman, thank you for having me today, members of the committee. This happens to be the 12th year that I'm coming here to testify against illegal immigration. What we need to first start off with is the word illegal. In Representative Maldonado's bill, on the first couple of pages, I think there are 8 references to immigrants. We are not here to criticize or do anything to immigrants. We're here because we object to illegal immigration. What I feel that bill does, 5515, is it prevents cooperation. It's not, we're not asking police officers to go out and arrest illegal aliens. All we're asking is if they put a detainer, or, I forget the correct legal term, affirmative action, or not affirmative action, but permission, or not permission, but to hold that person until such time as they come and pick them up. Now, what is difficult about that? Representative Natalillo's bill. What's difficult about allowing our law enforcement to notify the federal authorities when they're bringing an illegal alien to court? And it's just funny, it's really a coincidence, but most of the testimony earlier was about sex offenders. Well, it just so happens, I have a list right here. I didn't have the money to make copies for all of you. There are 29 illegal alien sex offenders that spent time in our prison. And when they say that the sex offenders are residing behind the motel at such and such a place, these people are all listed as being deported. Now they say that they're deported. At the very bottom of the sheet, almost every one says probation expires. This one says 8/19/53, 2053. That's the people that Representative Corbasi wants to have a law so we don't have to deal with these people. And there are 29 of them. Nobody knows where these 29 people are. It just says they're deported. But every one of them says they're still under supervision of the state of Rhode Island. That doesn't make any sense to me. And another thing that just happened to come to my attention is one of the things that wouldn't have happened in the state of Rhode Island is, I can't afford to make these either. This is a picture of a little boy. He was with his mother going to the circus. He got run over and killed by an illegal alien in Providence, Rhode Island in 2013. If we had laws on the books, if we enforced the laws that we have on the books, the organization that I'm from is Rhode Islanders for Immigration Law Enforcement. And all we've been trying to do, we're not against anybody in particular, all we've been trying to do for the last 12 years is to get our laws enforced. Now, all of this time, we're not enforcing them. The last 8 years, prior to January, the last 8 years, we didn't enforce any laws. And what they say is that, oh, Lord, President Obama deported more people than anybody else before him. Well, he didn't deport more people than anybody else before him. What he did was he stacked the books. Anybody that came to the border and was told you can't come in, go back, they counted them as a deportation. The things that we have going on in Rhode Island, I could talk from now to the 4th of July about the abuses in Rhode Island and about the money that illegal aliens are costing the state of Rhode Island. One thing that I'll bet you most people in this room don't know, between 2014 and 2017, we took in 822 unaccompanied alien children. 822. Now, illegal alien children happens to be another coincidence, but the young girl, 14-year-old girl that got raped in the bathroom, according to the latest news, was raped by 2 unaccompanied alien children. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for us not to get more strict with what we're doing. There are so many things that were said, I can't, I'm telling you, my mind is spinning. But I wrote so many things down, I probably ran out of ink. Just bear with me 1 second, because I have all these. One of the things in Senator Maldonado's bill that I totally disagree with, I disagree with most of it because I think it's another, what I call illegal alien benefits, protections, and invitations act. Because all these things do, if we don't enforce any laws, that invites more illegal aliens to come to the state of Rhode Island. But not to be detained. Why wouldn't we detain someone? And Stephen Brown is here, he's going to probably correct me, but the case where that lady that was a U.S. citizen got arrested, taken to jail, she was put in jail under her maiden name. So her maiden name, as I understand it, she was an illegal alien. She was a U.S. citizen because she got married. She never bothered to change her name. Well, when they finally got around to her saying she gave the right name, then it turned out she's a U.S. citizen, and we look like a bunch of dopes because we incarcerated for 2 extra days an American citizen. Well, I don't see anything wrong with that. And I mean, if I go to prison and say I'm Stephen Brown, and I didn't commit that crime, you know, I didn't rob that grocery store, and then 2 days later they find out I'm Terry Gorman and I did, what's going to happen? I mean, what would they do if in the first place? If I'm Stephen Brown, they don't find me guilty of any crime. But Terry Gorman robbed the store, so when my name comes out, there I go to jail. Representative Corbasi's bill, if you look at the literature that I passed out, and that the attorney actually mentioned this Federal Immigration and Nationality Act, it's a law that you cannot aid and abet an illegal alien. These bills, in my opinion, aid and abet illegal aliens. You can't aid and abet an illegal alien knowingly, even due to personal convictions. It can't be a person, including a group of persons, business, organization, or a local government, can't aid and abet an illegal alien. It says harboring. Harboring means any conduct that tends to substantially facilitate an alien to remain in the U.S. illegally. So you can't do that either. I mean, none of this makes any sense that we're trying to pass laws that are against our existing laws. I mean, I just don't understand that. And in Representative Maldonado's bill, I started to say that. On page 4, line 4 and 5, law enforcement agencies shall not notify ICE about an inmate's release. So this goes back to the illegal alien sex offenders. And all of those sex offenders were level 2 and level 3 sex offenders, by the way. So we're telling people, well, we're going to pass a law that says if somebody's arrested, that in some of these instances they raped 3, 5, 9, and 12-year-old girls, all one person. 3, 9, and 12-year-old girls. Multiple times. They're convicted of that. They're out of jail. They're walking around in our communities. And here we are, we're going to pass a law that's going to basically allow this to happen. That we're going to prevent the federal authorities for saying to the ACI, listen, you have so-and-so locked up there, can you keep them for 2 extra days? Whether they do it or not, it's their responsibility to do it. It's just like the laws, that we don't enforce the laws. We need to enforce the laws. And all of this, if we had been enforcing these laws since 1986, we would not be in the position that we're in today. All this discussion wouldn't even exist if we just enforced the laws. So that's all I have to say. I have to tell you that I was overwhelmed by all the testimony. I can't comprehend it all. I would like to say that Representative Maldonado, the councilwoman, Representative Tabone, they all did something, they're successful. We should all be proud of people like that. But I could not be proud of their parents, even though they were taught, that came here illegally and entered our country. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. Any questions? Representative Filippi.
Going back to aiding and abetting, are you suggesting that failure to affirmatively act and turn in an illegal immigrant, undocumented immigrant, is aiding and abetting?
For a government organization, it is, yes.
So failure to act, failure to report is aiding and abetting.
Well, that's what my understanding is. You're the attorney, you're an attorney, so you can tell me.
I would just respectfully suggest that failing to act is not aiding and abetting. Aiding and abetting requires some affirmative act. Thank you.
Any other questions for Terry? Representative O'Grady.
Thank you, Terry. You're familiar with the district that I represent, as you are a constituent and resident of District 46. And as you know, there are many public employees who live in the district. It's, there's a lot of teachers, a lot of rescue workers, a lot of municipal employees. And so I've heard from several of my constituents, our neighbors, who have expressed concerns about the portion of Representative Corbace's bill that creates a third-party right of action, which would allow a suit to be brought against a public official as defined in the bill by private persons, perhaps yourself or someone else. So is it your reading of the language that, and to get back to the question that Representative Williams was proposing, is it your reading that if a school teacher, let's say, fails to report someone that they believe to be perhaps the daughter or son of an illegal alien to the authorities, that they would be subject themselves to a suit based on the provisions of that section of the bill?
I say, to qualify that, it was a school teacher, and the school hired a group of illegal aliens to clean the school. The school teacher knows that they're a group of illegal aliens, and they didn't go to the school and say what's going on. It's incumbent upon them to say, our school just hired 15 illegal alien janitors. Yes.
But to follow up on the point, let's say it's not that you've hired folks, but it's that there may be a student in your class, for example.
Well, they can't do anything about that anyway. A good example of that is Cumberland High School. There are a lot of children in Cumberland High School. Cumberland High School, now you would think that's a rural community similar to where you and I live. They speak 26 languages in the Cumberland school system. I can't believe that all those families, all 26 that speak all those different languages, that everybody is there legally. You'd have to show me that on paper. But in the schools, and I don't disagree that what the law says is that if a child resides on U.S. soil, we have to educate them. Period. There's no exceptions to that whatsoever. So we have to educate them. Let me just say something else about that with educating the children. And when I say about the illegal alien benefits, protections, and invitations, the Providence Superintendent of Schools, about a year ago, said that the Providence schools, needed to be prepared for a tsunami of need in the ELL program. because in 5 years, they had a 54% increase in the number of non-English speaking students. Now, how can we possibly continue at those levels? You know, it makes no sense that things like these bills, where they're looking at that saying, oh, I'm safe, they're not gonna find me, invite more illegal aliens to come here. And something else with these things, that, because I think they're condoning and encouraging illegal immigration. We have, according to the Latino Policy Institute, we have 25,000 illegal aliens currently working in Rhode Island. And as someone, I think it was Carlos Tavone alluded to, they're doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. There's not 25,000 jobs out there that Americans don't want to do, especially in the climate that we're in right now. So, if we don't have any laws, if we can't notify ICE that we're transporting illegal aliens to the courthouse or whatever, we can't tell a city or ask the city or town that this illegal alien that you got there, can you just hold him for another day until we come and get him, the detainer? What are we doing to ourselves? In my opinion, we're encouraging more illegal immigration. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Terry. Any further questions?